Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. There's a lot to cover, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. A bullish comment on gold by a top Bloomberg intelligence analyst could leave Bitcoin in a similar upside spell. The firm's senior commodity strategist, Mike McGlone, said in his August update that he favors the precious metals price trajectory to accelerate. The analyst took the upside cues from favorable macroeconomic fundamentals led by a bearish US dollar and expectations of a correction in equities, which everyone at this point is kind of just anticipating. He said, when bear markets in the dollar and equities arise, gold will gain substantial tailwinds. He noted gold hit a new all-time high earlier in August after breaching $1,920 an ounce. The precious metal later pared part of its gains on growing selling pressure near its top. While many analysts saw the correction at the end of the gold bull run, some, like Mr. McGlone, made his bets in favor of continued upside momentum. If you haven't had the chance, I'll tell you pretty much what's going on. Of course, everyone is looking towards the idea that the US dollar might be overvalued because of the printing. I know, surprise, right? Printing $7 trillion will kind of do that for you. When gold started rapidly rising during this year because of all the printing that we saw not only within the United States but also within Europe and many other countries who were trying to prop up their stock markets and any type of markets in general to try and make things seem like they were normal, and gold was rising rapidly, there were a huge amount of articles that were also coming out saying that gold was overvalued, which I would probably have to disagree with, simply because if the demand is there and people are buying gold because the whole point of gold is you assume that the fiat currencies around are devalued because of the excess printing that's happening, and therefore people are moving into gold as a safer store of value. But gold went up rapidly towards around $2,000. I think it actually even hit $2,000, and then it started falling back down again a couple of days and weeks later. This changed the narrative for a lot of people who were on these news channels who were talking about it, saying that, well, gold doesn't seem to be a store of value anymore because it's incredibly volatile. If it can fly up quickly and then start falling back down, well, therefore, what's the point of even holding gold? So I think that's also going to be a new thing that we're also going to start seeing, have already begun seeing, a kind of a further divide between people who believe in gold, who believe in Bitcoin, and people who are still sticking up in some way for the US dollar, as if, $7 trillion wasn't printed over the course of 3 months. In his August note, the strategist said that gold is in its early stage of what happens to appear to be a long-term bull run. He stressed on the ongoing financial crisis that has prompted central banks to launch open-ended quantitative easing programs. If they're going to be printing forever, clearly the US dollar is going to be devalued. It's just actual simple math, and this is why it appears that we see other people flying into other markets trying to find a safe haven for their money. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more because he talks about gold for a while. Mr. McGlone earlier envisioned Bitcoin in a similar upward trajectory. The analyst said in his June update, that the cryptocurrency could hit 20,000 by the end of this year, citing increasingly favorable fundamental and technical factors. They included its maturity as an asset, followed by its rising futures open interest and more buy and hold strategy among investors. He said Bitcoin ended 2019 at about $7,000, near the bottom of its range, favoring a shift towards its peak. Last year, the high was about 14,000, which would translate into almost double in 2020 if rotating within the recent band. There were a lot, and it's not even just based off of what this guy is talking about. There were a lot of Bitcoin price predictions where the price is going to go over the next 7 or 8 days. I'm not sure what is about to take place. Maybe there's some monumental thing that's happening by the very end of this month. For those of you not looking at the screen, this one says Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP prepare for explosive price movement. This one says Bitcoin price corrections are shifting. Analysts predict epic bull run ahead. Apparently, the number 11,600 has been the support for apparently the last couple of weeks, or this is the support that we continuously have bounced off of. We tried last night, according to the news or something like that. I think last night we tried to get above 11,800, but apparently we didn't. We fell back down to 11,600. This is kind of where we've been rocking back and forth between, but apparently, according to every single article that I read revolving around Bitcoin's price, the fact that we have continuously bounced off of 11,600, this is incredibly bullish. We have not fallen deeply below that. We haven't, had a downward rocket towards 11,000, and therefore something epic and amazing and awesome and wonderful is about to take place. And this one also, it says this eerie silver fractal predicts Bitcoin will soon shoot towards 20,000. And I know that sounds familiar, but it's actually saying that they expect gold to underperform and silver to do extremely well. And because they expect silver to do extremely well, Bitcoin is going to do extremely well as well. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know if people are simply reaching for straws. Like, I honestly just can't figure it out at this point. I'm seeing it in a lot of financial channels as well, or rather financial YouTube channels, not actual like television shows, who are really just kind of throwing anything out there. I'm seeing a lot of channels talking about that Polkadot is the next Ethereum and get ready for it to pass by Bitcoin. I'm seeing a lot of channels with huge words on the front with people holding their faces with surprised expressions talking about Chainlink, soon #1 coin, and all this other stuff. So I really feel like people are kind of just shooting in the dark. I'm making like a little shooting thing with my finger, even though you can't see me. I'm actually doing it as well. It's kind of weird. And just trying to see what sticks in the future, because I feel like we're in hyper prediction mode where everyone's making as many predictions as possible, because at the end of all of this, some of these predictions will probably come true. I don't think Chainlink is going to be the #1 coin. Neither do I think that Polkadot is going to overtake Ethereum. But as far as these price things happening, I think some of them will definitely probably come true. And we for those of you who have not been here for a while, we spoke about this 2 years ago. One of the things I said is that if you say the same thing over and over and over, and it eventually happens, then people kind of believe that you're an oracle, or that you kind of foresaw all of this coming. So get ready for the next generation of crypto analysts when we actually have a bull run, because they're going to be like, I knew it the whole time. Anyway, that's all the price news. There was a whole bunch of other altcoin price news and crypto this price news and where this coin was going. It just happens that the overlying blanket on top of everything is that apparently Bitcoin is soon going to hit $20,000 or start aiming for 20,000. Right. Let's move on. Also very popular news, Binance US, the United States branch of Binance, has now opened its doors for crypto traders in Florida to access its cryptocurrency services. Following an announcement made a few hours ago, crypto traders in Florida can begin registering with the exchange starting on the 25th of August. Right. Launched in 2019, Binance US didn't support all US states at the beginning because they all have different laws and rules. Previously, Florida, Texas, Washington, Alabama, Hawaii, North Carolina, Alaska, Vermont, and New York were not eligible. However, as it became fully registered and regulated as a crypto and digital asset exchange, they have now been greenlit for Florida. Is this here's the actual blog. It's a lot of movement. It's like hurting my eyes looking at this. I don't know why they have crocodiles. Anyway, the point is Binance US is apparently now open to people in Florida. I don't know about the other states. Of course, there's no news about the other states. Florida, but usually the one that's excluded is typically New York. And I know there have been a number of people in the comment section the last couple of months when we've been discussing cryptocurrency exchanges who have been telling me that Binance US is not available in their particular state. So if you're in Florida and you've been looking for another place to be able to acquire cryptocurrencies, and Binance also does have a large amount of crypto. I don't know how many they have within the States, but yeah, like really, really, really popular news. So anyway, Binance US is now open in Florida. I don't know about the other states. I can't begin to tell you. Try Kraken. I know Kraken's also within the States. I think they're within the States. Anyway, that's the Binance in Florida news. And let's move on. In the most popular news story of the day, if I'm not mistaken, Michael O'Leary, the CEO of budget airline RyanAir, has bashed Bitcoin, saying he would never invest 1 cent in it, and argued he believes the flagship cryptocurrency is equivalent to a Ponzi scheme. The executive's comments came while speaking to The Times in response to a Bitcoin auto trading scheme that used his image and name to a fake celebrity endorsement in the product. The scams are well known and have affected various celebrities, including Martin Lewis and billionaire Sir Alan Sugar. I didn't even know they were a part of these things or that people had used their image. I feel like there are other celebrities you can use that would probably, like, I can think of about 5 other celebrities who I would use over Martin Lewis or Alan Sugar, who would probably get more people into the market. The ad featured Michael O'Leary, was reportedly hosted on a number of high-profile websites and depicted a fake interview with Ryan Tubridy on the Late Late Show, where the CEO of RyanAir supposedly said he was glad he tried Bitcoin because it was some of the biggest and easiest money I had ever made, end quote. So the news is, apparently the CEO of RyanAir saw his image on a whatever and has equated Bitcoin to be a scam because his image was used, and therefore all of Bitcoin has to be a pyramid scheme. I'm going to try and choose my words in the nicest way, and I'll simply say it like this. For those of you not looking at the screen, and for those of you who were not here on the 19th of January of this year, there's a guy named Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff does not like Bitcoin. Peter Schiff does not like cryptocurrency. Peter Schiff loves gold. He's obsessed with it. He thinks that in the future, we're all going to be transacting only in gold, as gold is the end game for the US dollar's disappearance, and therefore gold will simply usurp it. He's been on many cryptocurrency websites, platforms, podcasts, and people have spoken to him trying to make him understand or get a bit of a glimpse as to why Bitcoin is maybe superior to gold, and he is not hearing any of it. Apparently, at some point, I think someone transferred him a bit of Bitcoin. Kind of like a, hey, if you have some, you'll be more interested and you'll be able to see where the price is going because you are now invested in it. At the beginning of this year, the Bitcoin that he was given, Peter Schiff said it was lost. It was gone. The blockchain ate it. He could not find his money. It turned out, so when that all happened, he came out openly and said, Bitcoin's a complete scam. Like, I don't know how to, the thing took my money. What am I supposed to do? It turns out he lost his password. And I think when he got his password back, he reopened the wallet, and lo and behold, his Bitcoin was still there. So I feel like this is kind of the same thing happening right here. A lot of very rich people, especially if they've made their money in other markets or simply have no idea or fascination or clue about and don't simply want to know about cryptocurrencies, they find very easy ways to, they just dismiss it, if you will. So the idea that someone used his image and therefore the entirety of Bitcoin is a scam is complete nonsense. It's like, imagine someone using your image for a lotto poster, and then we find out that lotto was rigged or something like that, and they go, oh my gosh, the US dollar is terrible. Like, they were using the US dollar for that lotto. It just doesn't really equate and make sense. I think I handled that pretty well because I had a lot more to say. The point is, we don't really care if you never invest a cent into Bitcoin. At some point, you will be forced to do so when Bitcoin's price rises so high and you realize that you could have made hundreds of millions of dollars from investing in a digital currency that is taking over the world. Very popular news, and I assume it has to do with the word RyanAir and Bitcoin being in the same sentence. No one really cares. Like, no one actually cares. It's kind of the same exact thing with Warren Buffett. I don't care if Warren Buffett never invests in Bitcoin. I know that, thank goodness, there are still 7 billion other people on the planet who are going to do so, regardless if Warren Buffett does or not. Anyway, that's the RyanAir Bitcoin news. And I guess even more Peter Schiff, who's still in the news every day. I don't get why maybe he's bored. Maybe he is like locked in his house because of 19. Like, I really don't know what's going on, but he's in the news like every single day. Like, he finds like maybe it's getting him a lot of attention. Oh, that could be it as well. I mean, anyway, I was going to say something. So that's the RyanAir Bitcoin news. And without further ado, we're going to move on. Next up, cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX is set to block all Ontario-based users from its platform starting next month. A BitMEX spokesperson told The Block that restrictions have been mandated by the Ontario Securities Commission, which recently clarified the application of its regulatory regime to cryptocurrencies. Why not? In January, the Ontario Securities Commission published this additional guidance clarifying whether security laws apply to crypto exchanges. At the time, the regulator said securities legislation might apply to crypto exchanges that facilitate the trading of crypto assets that are commodities, because users' contractual right to crypto assets may itself constitute a derivative, a security, or both. The world is so what's the word? Fractaled, fractured, fractionalized. I have it on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it. The fact that, first of all, Canada's huge. The fact that there's an OSC by itself, it's really weird that we have these commissions and these security so-and-so and these blah, blah, blahs who tell people what they can and can't do within a certain region and jurisdiction on top of do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe I'm saying it completely wrong. It's just very odd that we keep having these discussions over and over, that this security commission is telling people, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can touch this, but you can't touch that. That's not a security, that's a commodity, that's an equity, that's a so-and-so. You can't it's I find it all very, very weird. And if you listen to a lot of cryptocurrency podcasts and have been over the last year, there's been a major discussion as to the longevity of these actual commissions and institutions, because I mean, even if you go to the side of actual smart contracts, you can simply automate a lot of these things on top of blockchains and simply say, well, we don't really need that commission because the internet and the computer can simply do it without them because automation. But also on the other side, it's I wonder what the world is going to look like in a situation where, because once Bitcoin starts having private transactions and Taproot and Schnorr and all this other stuff on top of it, other coins are going to follow suit. And eventually, I think in the next 10 years, we're going to have a situation where every single coin that comes out is going to be a coin that has private transactions. This is how I feel. I think once Bitcoin has it, everyone else is going to kind of follow suit. And this is why I think a lot of other coins are trying to do it right now, to try and jump the gun before Bitcoin actually does it. What happens when you can't track the transactions, or when you can't tell people, hey, you can't do that because it's a security, or you can't do so and so? Because a lot of the control, this is just my opinion, this is just how I feel about everything we've been reading and going over. A lot of the control comes from being able to restrict cryptocurrency exchanges from not doing X, Y, and Z. But we have already decentralized crypto exchanges, and when those become more popular and all the coins have private transactions, how does the SEC or the OSC or the ABC regulate any of these things within the actual space? This was slightly popular news. I assume it had to do with, I guess, the negative news about BitMEX. BitMEX, whenever it gets negative news, people jump all over it. I don't know what the negativity is exclusively about BitMEX, but here we are. So I guess by no fault of their own, It's the Ontario Securities Commission who is coming down on them, and I'm sure it's not just BitMEX. I assume it's other cryptocurrency exchanges. They're probably just the largest. But it's weird, right? It's the same. I don't have the article here. There was some other country that just mandated that, like, if you're mining crypto within their borders, like, you can face fines, and what's the word? They're giving rewards to other citizens who find other people mining illegally, and it's like, what is this world? It's a very odd. And I'll easily use the word totalitarian. It's this really weird, like, not arm shrug, like flexing of a muscle kind of thing, consistently over and over and over, to show who has the monetary authority or the monetary power. But I feel like it hasn't slipped away, but it's slipping away from them. This is why the discussion around Libra was so big last year. Because it fell completely out of the purview of all of these. I wonder what would have happened if Facebook had simply released Libra immediately. If they had announced it, next day it was out, and no government agency had a chance to really try and regulate it or scream at them or demand a moratorium. Because it's clear that, at least to me, that they're not prepared. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have so much flexing of muscles from these monetary people, but then the moment something happens, they completely freak out, because it's always something new that they're just not expecting, that they don't really pay attention to, that they're just simply not seeing. But this will continue to happen. And what are they going to do when Bitcoin itself has private transactions and we can simply just use decentralized exchanges if we're trying to swap between coins? Or even a lot of the coins now have interoperability between themselves. So, okay. Anyway, I think the future is going to be very confusing for regulators, because they're going to realize that they don't have the upper hand anymore, because the financial world is clearly shifting to something hyper digital. And this is why I think that we see a lot of people entering the Bitcoin space. This is a huge assumption. About 3 or 4 years ago, the idea was that rich people would start getting into the cryptocurrency space because Bitcoin transactions, while not impossible to track, they are very difficult to track. But the idea was that in the future, with private transactions, you'll have people who will simply start swapping their money out of, $116 million art, or so-and-so this amount of homes that they have, and simply put it into Bitcoin, because it's value that you can transfer at will. No one can tell you when you can or cannot transfer that value. Now imagine Bitcoin with private transactions, what you could do with that, the things you could buy, the things you could go to, the things you can accumulate without anyone being able to tell you no, that you can't do that. It is wealth on another level that isn't controlled or mandated or dictated by anyone else except for the algorithm. Isn't that fascinating? Like, we're used to the idea over the last hundreds of years, either having kings and queens or people in office telling us how much money is going to be printed, how much is then printed, and how much we are allowed to have and what we can do with it. And if we transfer too much of it, nope, that's a no-no, you have to tell us as well. But what happens when that all disappears? Imagine in the next 8 years, we have 5 different protocols on top of Bitcoin that all allow that in their own separate way, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, that equal to a 100% Bitcoin that has private transactions. And many other coins have the exact same things, if not other layers and other things as well. And the entire world is digital at this point. And everyone accepts Bitcoin as a payment option or in their own kind of way. What do they do? How do you declare what's a security or what's a commodity, and who can and cannot take money out of a country? This is why I think central bank digital currencies are becoming such a big thing, because they are trying to find a way to be able to circumvent all of this. The same exact way with cryptocurrency exchanges. You have to try and clog the hole as quickly as possible. But then you look up and there are thousands of other tubes as well, and you can't stop them all. So whatever. Hope you get what I'm saying. It's just a very fascinating development in the financial world, because, yeah. I mean, I can see where this is all going, and I want you to always be able to see it as well, because the future is not what they're expecting. Let's move on. Next up, here's an interesting one. Brad Garlinghouse has announced that there's a new platform called Flare that will be unveiled and will offer clients the combined prowess of XRP Avalanche, and Ethereum. Brad Garlinghouse was in attendance at the first ever crypto town hall meeting, where he gave the community a glimmer of what the Flare platform was going to offer them. In his full statement, the CEO said that Flare was hoping to combine the use of XRP to provide clients with fast payments, while Ethereum would be used to initiate smart contracts. Furthermore, he said that Avalanche will be exploited to provide consensus and will in turn help XRP boost its utility. He, however, said that developers on the platform would have their hands full, as they would be able to build smart contracts that will support lending. The new Flare network will be unveiled by Ripple has promised to award clients on the platform with Spark, which will be used to enable them to use smart contract features. The new Flare platform is a new platform that provides clients with smart contract services with the use of a virtual machine that is backed by Ethereum. Furthermore, Flare makes use of the same encryption scheme that XRP uses, and in turn will be able to combine the usage of Flare and the XRP ledger for clients on the platform. So, okay, here we go. Here's another article, and I tried finding as much news as possible. I had to dig for this kind of. So apparently there's going to be a new platform called Flare that is going to link or combine. There's no words that kind of say how they're going to be interoperable, but it appears they're going to be interoperable between XRP, Avalanche, and Ethereum, where people will be able to use XRP on the platform, or everything is going to be built on top of the XRP ledger, and Ethereum will also be used for the smart contracts as well. I found no clear answer for any of this. It was kind of just words thrown together. On top of this as well, Flare is going to have a cryptocurrency called Spark. And apparently, if you're holding XRP, you'll be able to get Spark for free by an airdrop. It says XRP holders can claim the Spark token by an airdrop. The founder of XRP Labs, Vitsevind, called on the XRP community a few days ago to prepare for claiming Spark, the native token of Flare. Launched exact date of utility fork has not been announced. Utility fork means that the Flare's native token, an algorithmic stablecoin, is generated by a fork of XRP. XRP owners receive the Spark token of a 1-to-1, which in turn means that 100 billion Spark tokens are created. Hereby, Spark is an independent network, hence the two ledgers have a special relationship to each other. Flare Network integrates Ethereum's virtual machine so that smart contracts can be executed on Ethereum using XRP for FXRP. Oh boy, so a lot going on. So apparently if you're holding XRP, you are eligible to receive the Spark token by an airdrop. Flare is going to be its own fork of the XRP ledger that you're going to receive a 1-to-1 of 100 billion Spark, and it will be using the Ethereum virtual machine to allow smart contracts on XRP. Okay, so that's that news. A lot going on. I don't know if that was just, the word isn't difficult, question mark for me. So I wonder if XRP will react to this. I wonder if Ether will react to this cross-platform Flare Spark airdrop thing. I feel like I wonder when this is going to happen, because I feel like, before in the past we've heard news that if there's going to be an airdrop of any coin, and you have to have that corresponding other coin to be able to get that. The same exact thing for EOS and many other coins. If you are going to have an airdrop for XRP, and therefore the more XRP that you own or hold will get you more Spark, I don't know. All right, let's move on from this one. So apparently there's going to be an XRP airdrop. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, also in news together, because I guess the words are very close to one another, Binance has announced its movement into the Indian blockchain market, as it has partnered with Google to launch Build for Bharat, which is a new project they have. According to the renowned Raptors exchange outfit, I have no idea what those words mean. The new Build for Bharat project is a twofold project that promises acceleration and hackathon opportunities. Furthermore, Binance noted that it partnered with a host of other high-caliber companies, with Google headlining the project alongside them to host the hackathon. Meanwhile, a $50 million fund set up by WazirX and Binance at the beginning of the year would be used to fund the program. As good as this initiative is, it is the first time that a known exchange company would partner a firm like Google to initiate a project that has to do with DeFi. This entire article gives me a headache. So it appears that Binance has partnered with Google to make a hackathon called Build for Bharat. And apparently you're going to get $40,000 if you win the hackathon. Furthermore, the winner would enjoy a boost in funding from two known firms, Kickstart and Blitzscale, which would pay around $20,000 and $100,000 respectively. So you're getting a good $160K if you win the Binance Google hackathon. Sure. Why not? This was also, I mean, like I said, I assume it had to do with the fact that Binance and Google were in the same sentence. Didn't really see this all over the place. I guess it's because it's a hackathon and not like an actual partnership. I think if the news had been that Google was going to be using Binance's services, or that Binance was going to be integrating with Google and Google would have their own cryptocurrency exchange which would run through Binance, I think that would have set off a lot more alarms in people's heads. But apparently it's just a hackathon. Not just a hackathon, but you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, the point is, Google, Binance, wonderful. Yay, even this guy on the screen is dancing because he's excited about the news. And to finish things off, in news, the People's Bank of China revealed that the test run of its central bank digital currency is currently limited to small retail transactions. According to the Global Times report, the central bank has clarified some details regarding the recent digital yuan, dubbed as the digital currency electronic. Why do they always give things such difficult names? Digital currency electronic payment, or DCEP, in order to address rumors regarding the scale and scope of recent pilot projects. According to the report, Chinese internet users claimed that a person in Shenzhen received a large amount of People's Bank of China's digital currency after selling local real estate. Several other central banks across countries are exploring digital currencies. Wang Peng, an assistant professor of the Gaoling School of Artificial Intelligence in Renmin University, said that the test's primary goal is to ensure the digital currency's operation runs smoothly and safely and determine how DCEP is distributed from the central bank to financial institutions. He said only when trials in retail are successful will they be carried out in large transaction scenarios. The rumors also stated that the digital yuan could be converted into banknotes. However, an official from the PBOC cleared the rumor and said that the digital currency is legal tender in China and can be converted into banknotes at a rate of 1-to-1. Okay, so the rumor was that they could not be converted. I was like, that's exactly what they just said. Okay. Yeah, but they're phasing out banknotes in general, so you won't be able to do that in a couple of years anyway. The point of a digital currency is to have control and to be able to track transactions. They can't do that with paper. So these things are being phased out. They're not creating these things to have simplified payments for the world. It's to be able to see where all the money is going, because China has the issue currently, and has had it for the last 10 years, of capital outflow. People are trying to take their money out of the country because, logic, because of what's been happening over the past 10 years, which I won't even address right now. And people were doing fairly well years ago until they put the restrictions on that I think you can take out $100K per year to another country. Before, they had billions leaving their wires and their land a couple of years ago because logic. Anyway, yeah, this was very popular. I think the news that maybe it was already out and people simply didn't realize that it was out, or that there was a property transaction that had to do with this. Cool. Who cares? Eventually there will be property transactions for it. We know that it's being tested, or has been tested. The news that we had before is that it was being tested amongst banks. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, does this news excite anyone? Like, did someone have like, heart palpitations because they were like, oh my gosh, a property transaction within China? I can't even deal with that. I don't know. This was super popular news. We know that they're building it. We know it's going to be released. We know that they're testing it. We know that they have been testing it. And the initial goal was to release it before Libra launched. And the news that we had last time was that Libra was allegedly planning on launching around November. So anyway, that's all that news. And we're going to move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Snacky Chan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Decentralized, Peter, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohar Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night, why'd I say it that way? Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll, Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Set, Suna, Nick, Kanaya, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, His Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monks 200 Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel, and thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links, and thank you to all of you in general who are supporters of my very weird channel. At the moment, nearly all the coins are down. Bitcoin is currently at 11,580. It's down by 1.45%. Who knows? I really can't tell you what's happening in the market. I really have no gosh darn clue at this point because everything is a bit topsy-turvy. If you look at normal financial news and people talking about the actual stock market and property values still going up in certain places and the movement of people from major cities into suburbs and gold's rising and gold's dropping and where silver's going to be, no one has any idea what's happening in the world right now. No one has any actual clue. Lend is up by 24%. Makers up, Synthetics is up, Digibyte is up by 6%. Right, nothing is making sense anymore. I think that's all I had to say. I covered a lot, and this is a third of all the news. There was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of it kind of Ryan-esque news. Like kind of weird, ridiculous things. People calling Bitcoin out. There was even more Dave Portnoy news. Shrug. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. We'll see if any of these predictions actually end up coming true relatively soon. We've had a month full of predictions, and they all lead to around the same exact scope. I think the lowest Bitcoin price prediction that we got by the end of this year was 17,000. That was the lowest that we got, the highest being 50,000. I mean, complete honesty, what was I going to say? I lost it. Wait, I'm going to get it back. Hold on. There we go. This is a weird year. There's a lot of stuff happening in November, if you know what I'm talking about. And people are questioning the movements of all markets right now because no one really knows what's going to end up happening. So just hunker down because we're almost September, because I think things are going to get a lot more interesting than any of us could even possibly begin to imagine. If Bitcoin starts really pushing up further, I think things are going to get really interesting. But at the same exact time, the stock market's also still going up, as are many other things. So for what it's worth, I've written this year off. I don't consider this year an actual year, because it just doesn't seem real. Nothing that's happened so far this year seems like we're actually not in a simulator. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be, I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See